No pressure, no diamonds, no friction, no fire.
What is your approach to staging a home for sale?
You only get one chance to make a first impression. So when staging a home, damn it, I want to give a shameless plug right now, but Kristen, she does all of our home staging here in Texas. And it's just all about taking something that could be, bland or plain and just giving it a luxurious feel. And so, sight lines, make things very bright, use colors in blank canvases so you can make it appealing. The small things are really the big things. So like fruit bowls, plants, plates, placemats, pictures, small things are really big things. And then, filling empty spaces. But 9 times out of 10, I'm staging a house. 9 times out of 10, I'm staging. Unless I just know it's priced so ridiculously that there's just no point to staging it, 9 times out of 10, I'm staging a house.
That's something I never hear about anywhere else. So that's good that you kind of talk about it.
Staging a house is so important because here's the thing about it, and this is just buyer psychology, 9 times out of 10, we buy with our emotions. So I just bought a watch, a very expensive watch. I don't even know why I bought it. It just, when it came across me, I was like, whew. And I had wanted it for a while in the past, and it was like almost the way it was staged in the ad. And then when I went to actually go see it and feel it and touch it, I was like, I gotta have this. And the same thing when you walk into a house, right? If you walk into a plain house, you got to think about, okay, I'd put my couch here, I'd put my TV here, I put, this is the code. But when you walk into a stage house, you're like, ooh, I'll put my table just like how that table is. I need those chairs. So it just gives you a foundation for purchasing it. It allows that dopamine in your brain to really go off, and it allows you to make that decision much better. So staging is super important.
How do you manage client expectations?
Setting clear expectations from the beginning. Again, if it can't be measured, it can't be managed. So in the beginning, asking good questions about what my client's expectations actually are. Price, time, motivation, logistics, where they want to go, what are their plans prior to and afterwards. So asking good questions in the beginning allows me to actually set the proper expectations, and then staying in constant communication with my clients from contract to close is how you just manage a good experience for your clients and align that with expectation.
What's your favorite real estate success story?
A good friend of mine, I call him Mace, but he looks like Mace, but he's in New York. He's in Harlem, New York. And he was in our loaded agent mentorship program. And in the beginning, he was just a crazy overthinker. I don't know, what about this? If that happens, then we won't be able to do this. I'm like, yo, D, just relax. Don't chase it, let it come to you. Because we got the way the system's set up, the leads are just dropping in every day. And if you start creating problems that don't exist, or putting roadblocks up in front of yourself that don't actually exist, it keeps you so much farther from your goal. So then, I was on the phone with him, I want to say maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I was like, how you doing? I was like, you made that money? He was like, man, not only did I make that money, I made triple, quadruple that investment. I'm getting ready to take my wife on vacation and drop the question. So I'm just his life has changed dramatically. His confidence is insane. Now he's got money in the bank, and he's getting ready to get married. He's taking his wife to a beautiful island vacation, and he's just a different person from when I've initially talked to him up until now. My biggest success story is seeing somebody else take the system that we put in place that I actually invented or created out of the need to be able to scale my business, and give it to somebody else and watch them scale their business, and then watch that scaling of their business change their life.
How do you build relationships with clients?
Building relationships with clients, again, just comes down to asking good questions, getting to know what it is that they actually need. I think all relationships are built on the value that we can provide for one another. So if we're being honest, you don't want to hang out with somebody that doesn't provide any value. You don't want to hang out with somebody where you always got to pick them up and drop them off, and all they do is want to eat your food and use your money and borrow your clothes. That's not a mutually beneficial relationship, So I think just by asking good questions and really, really getting a good idea of who your clients are. What do they like? Do they like baseball? Do they like football? Do they like bowling? Do they like swimming? What are their extracurricular activities? It's not always transactional, right? Sometimes it's actually about getting to know a person and just being a good person, just a human being human. I establish relationships with my clients by just actually knowing what it is that they need and what they expect, and then just being honest about what I can do and can't do. And it allows you to organically build long-term relationships with people. What's
the most unexpected challenge you faced in real estate?
So I was dealing with a probate client, and her mom passed away. So in a probate, it depends on how many children they are, or heirs, in order to actually be able to close the deal. So sometimes you have to do something that's called an affidavit of heirship, where everybody acknowledges that they have rights to this property, and the underwriting has to go in and make sure each one of those people don't have any liens, or they don't have any back taxes, or they don't have anything owing, because whatever's owing to that heir then has to be paid out of the actual sale of the house. So what happened was, Mom passed away. The daughter became the executor. The daughter had 2 siblings. Okay, so now we got all the siblings involved. But then we found out, as we're getting ready to go through title, underwriting finds out that mom and dad actually had a divorce. So now mom and dad have a divorce, and it's different now because now we got to figure out if dad had additional children that didn't have anything to do with mom and dad's marriage, and we have to get an affidavit of heirship for those kids. And we got to find out if dad was married before mom, and if dad's spouse is surviving and has any, you know what I mean? So when you're in those situations, that new information becomes available to you. You then have to be, again, head on, headstrong, chin up, chest out, and figure it out with the title company, figure it out with your client, and then just help everybody, instead of getting roadblocked by the actual problem that has arisen where you just want to give up, just giving everybody a positive nudge in the right direction and helping them gather the information and helping them with the documents and just all of those small things, man. I think that particular probate was absolutely just insane. And I had another one that had like 5 kids involved, and they all had to have the affidavit of heirship, and they all had to agree on the price, and they all had to agree on the amount of money that probates can get crazy, but they can also be extremely profitable. And no risk, no reward, no struggle, no muscle, no dirt, no diamond. So the harder stuff a lot of times pays the most money. But it's just, when you're dealing with difficult situations, you really have to be able to manage. You have to be able to manage stress. One of the things I say too is, like, if you can't tolerate stress, don't do anything to do with business. Because if you don't handle pressure well or stress well, just be broke. Don't open any type of business. You guys should see Mikkel shaking his head in the background, because owning a business is the real deal. And if you ain't ready for that, you ain't ready for it. It is what it is.
How do you stay organized with multiple listings?
That's my team, man. It ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't manage things that aren't my level of expertise. I have an amazing transaction coordinator. My wife is a 5-year political science major that worked for a governor. That's her level of expertise. I'm people, she's paper. And so if you can't delegate, you'll never elevate. So there is no way in hell I'm going through folders every day. There's no way in hell I'm going through emails every day. There's just no way. So I have a division of my company that specifically handles that. And I literally, for instance, I love just the proof being in the pudding, because this is what I do. But I mean, like, this is multiple transactions right here, right? I'm not dealing with that. I'm just literally looking on the spreadsheet and seeing where we are. And I didn't put none of that information in. Once I got the contract, I'm doing a contract right now. I'm not even sending the contract. I'm just looking at the contract before it gets sent, and then I'm signing off on it. So you got to delegate to elevate. Handling multiple transactions is just about me delegating and having a great team that I can rely on, and then just taking that certain amount of time that's etched out in my calendar to go over all of my transactions to make sure that we're in a good space.